30,000 is good, great. Pastor was all that, wonderful. That's 30,000 feet, but that's not here. Here, it's 10,000 feet. Okay. Because that's what leaders do. You with me? Okay. So now let's talk about, we're going to move into chapter 2, Five-Star Church. Excuse me. About the pursuit of excellence. And it highlights a gentleman named W. Edwards Deming, who is considered by many to be the quality guru. Before I go further, you want to say something? I need to get it. You want to say, go. It's your shot. Yes. Blind spot. Candace wanted to go back last week and talk about some blind spots that might be, evident or resident in ministry. And let me say this. When you answer, which is why I want ministries to stick together, when you answer, speak for your ministry. That's it. I'll cover everybody. But if you're going to answer, speak for your ministry. Because I don't want other ministries to feel like they are coming under the judgment stick. If you ain't sitting in the meeting with the choir, then help me understand how we talking about singing. I mean, because now this is not to say that people don't have, but we're going to learn how to cross-critique each other. Okay, we got to walk slow because, would you agree, people do not leave church because Jesus didn't get up from the dead. That's not why people leave church. Right, that's it. That's it. Say it again, Alisa. You want a microphone? Right. Okay. It's got, people leaving church has nothing to do with Jesus. Because if they did, then they would be Muslim. But people don't leave. They leave the church and go to another church. They don't leave the church and go to the mosque. Right? If they do that, then it's an issue with Jesus. Okay, fine. But most people leave church and go to another church. That's got nothing to do with Jesus. That's got something to do with cultural something, what Alnisa said. It's got something to do with that. So we want to go slow when we cross-critique other ministries. That's why I said, do not use the term five-star church as a judgment stick to, that's not five-star. That's what Fulton used to do. And that's why they didn't get it. They would do, oh, that's not five-star. Well, your ministry racket. What you doing? I would say it to myself, though. I lasted 5 years because I kept a lot of things to myself. That's why I lasted that long. I kept a lot of things to myself. But because it's you all, I feel I can be honest. And you're going to learn more from my mistakes than from any of my successes. Yes, ma'am.
Pastoral care or armor bearer. So when the pastor needs things or things need to be done for him without him asking, something should be in place where ministries already know that it's okay to take care of that without him asking for things.
I'm glad you bring that up, Alnisa. I think that's a good point. Let me address it this way. Couple things. Human nature will say, well, maybe they should do it. Or maybe, and they'll say, well, maybe they should do it. And they'll say, maybe they should do it. And then it doesn't get done. That's A. That could be one thing. Right? The other is, you know what? I'm saying this, Pastor Churn is my friend. If Pastor Churn needs something, he will say, Dana, Deke, Nate, Tyra, Ashley, he will say it. And I don't think he has a problem with me saying this because we are cut kind of from Mama. He will say it. We're kind of cut from the similar cloth. I didn't have a whole lot of armor bearers because, I passed it on North Avenue. Wasn't nobody trying to kill me. So, members and 60 armor bearers. Who's trying to kill you? No. So, Bolton used to hate me because I used to walk around the neighborhood in my hoodie and my sweats and all that. And nobody ever bothered me, so I didn't feel the need to travel with folk. And, I always said, if y'all were down on North Avenue, I'm not talking to people that don't know, okay? So if you were scared to be down there, then you didn't need to be there. If fear, then you didn't need to be there. I rode the train, walked the neighborhood. Oh, I had the seniors just Reverend, I'm praying for you. You keep right on praying. I'm gonna take the train. Whatever. Train. I was used to the train. I would just take the train and leave my car somewhere in it. So that's the piece. Okay. Let pastor, because see, here's what you don't want, Annalisa.
Like towels.
Okay. Right. And you know what? I heard it because I watched. That's why I asked how church went. We're spying on y'all. What? I can't come to this and not know what's going on, right? Somebody taught me how to pull y'all up on YouTube or whatever I was on. Like, oh, okay, so I was spying on y'all. And I heard him say, will somebody bring me a towel? No. Will somebody bring me a towel? Okay. One, that doesn't happen. So that's a nice little fun thing, right? That doesn't happen. But let's just take it in a broader concept, because some pastors have full-fledged altar guilds and armor bearers and all that. Let him develop that. Those pastoral type of, let him drive it. Because what you might think he needs, he don't need, don't want, and too nice to say he don't want it because he don't want his feelings. I'm here, so I'm just visiting. So I'll say it. I'll say it. Let him drive that. What he needs regularly and all that. Let him drive that. Okay. So, back to Mr. Deming. He's the quality guru. Y'all thought I lost my place. Nope. He's the quality guru. And in the 1970s, when America was building, let me repeat myself again. Y'all remember the big Deuce and Court cars? It was a big Buick. God, I thought. Yeah. You with me now? We used to call it Deuce and Court. 225. Right? Big cars, big Chevys, big gas. You could fit 3 persons across the front, right? Because the steering gauge was here and it was, right? My man, thank you so much, right? Right? It was here, not on it, so you could fit 3 people across the front and about 9 people in the back. I mean, it was big cars, but they ate up a lot of gas. And so what did Japan do? Honda, Toyota, right? The Germans had Volkswagen, right? Things got smaller, and suddenly those desire for big gas guzzling cars, I drive it. Dana, what you drive? So all the foreign cars, because America would not adapt and adjust. Well, this is what Dr. Deming was presenting to America. They didn't want it. We took it overseas. Thus is the birth of the Japanese market, particularly in cars. I mean, it spread to like Sony and Toshiba and all those other products, but particularly in cars. That's where America was taking hit. That's just my nerd knowledge. But it said, alluded to that in the book, but I know a little something about Dr. Deming. So in the pursuit of excellence, let's get into the book. Page 35 in the book. Dana, what page is that in y'all digital book? I want you to find where it says, before any changes take place, there needs to be some sense of dissatisfaction. It's on page 35 in our book. Where is it on your digital book? You don't see what's there? Thank you so much. Second paragraph. All right. So it says, before any changes take place, there has to be some sense of dissatisfaction with the status quo. Now let me just kind of revamp that, because I don't want us again to become the complaining fussing church. and just, everything is, some folk, things are not right unless they find something wrong in the world. I don't want that. Okay, so the whole dissatisfaction with the status quo, I think it's a little hard, and it's okay to take issue with the book, right? It's all right to not agree with everything in the book. I don't necessarily agree with that particular phrase. I think it's a little harsh. Again, this is written by a hotel. It's not written for a church. It's written for a hotel. Okay, so here's the piece that I'd like to just kind of meld it just a little bit. Not from the basis of dissatisfaction, but there's always a desire to go and be better. See how that says a little different? It says a little different. It comes from the dissatisfied, upset, fussing side of the street to the side of the street that said, you know what? We good. We got something going on here, but it could be a little better. Could we not all agree that we could always be just a little better? We may be good. We may be good, right? But we can always be a little better. So that's where I want us to push our ministries. I'm not saying that any ministry is bad. Mm-mm. I'm saying the exact opposite. I'm saying every ministry is good. Every ministry is doing well. Issues notwithstanding, not going there. I'm going to teach you something called appreciative inquiry. That's where you just start to talk about things that you're doing well, and you want to do that often. You focus on what you're doing well, you do that often. Sometimes the kinks will work themselves out. Okay, so our reason for being here is because we want to make good better. You with me? We want to make good better. This is not about taking bad to make it good. We're talking about making good better. Because remember, most church folk are volunteers. So you swing a big stick. Let me know how that works out. Just let me know. When people can vote with their feet, when people can vote, they don't have to say anything. When they can vote with their feet, either out of your ministry or out of the church totally, presentation and communication becomes of utmost importance. Okay? It becomes of utmost importance. So, pursuit of excellence. I think I made a mention of this quote before. It's worth saying again. If you pursue perfection, you'll land on excellence. Because nobody's perfect, right? But if you pursue perfection, you'll land on excellence, which is where you want, which is what the 5-star church is based on. Okay. So now, chapters 2 and 3, just to give you some structural dynamic here. Chapters 2 and 3, Dr. Deming came up with 14 principles that the book extracts. There were more, but the book only extracted 14 and took chapters 2 and 3 to expound on the 14 principles. Obviously, we're not going to get through all 14 today. We're going to get through as many as we can get through in chapter 2 today, and we'll move on to chapter 3 next week. All right, so we're going to identify these, thank you, Ashley, these 14 principles in all, okay? And we're just going to really drill it down. And again, if I ask you a question, I'm asking about your ministry. I'm really asking about your ministry. I'm not asking about the church as a whole. I can go to Pastor Chern and get that. He has the 30,000-foot view. He has the best view. He has the highest view, vantage point of anybody in here. If he doesn't, then he shouldn't be pastor. So he has the highest vantage point. Nobody's view, barring the Lord, of course, is higher than his. So when I ask you a question, it's not about his view. Leave his view out. It's about what you looking at. Because, contrary to popular belief, he can't see what's on the parking lot. He don't see what's going on at the door. He back there getting it. He don't know. So when I ask you, please, it's about your ministry. That's what I'm. So let's talk about principle 1. Unless there's any questions, any questions, I can talk, and God knows I can. All right. Any questions? And I want you to feel comfortable, even if you think what you're going to say is uncomfortable, go ahead and say it. I'll fix it. Go ahead and say it. Unless you're insulting somebody, then I may have to duck. But we are going to treat each other and speak in a way because we're trying to make good better. We're not trying to make bad good or good bad. The direction is we're making good better. So that means everybody in here is good at what they do. They may not do it like you, but they're good at what they do. It's what God has called them to do in their space, in their time, in their season. Okay? So we have to move the critic piece slowly. Why? And I'm just going to be very honest. Church people get their feelings hurt. And sometimes it's hard to unhurt church folk. And it's strange because the boss can talk to you any old kind of way. That's why I'm looking over there. Boss talk to you any old kind of way. You come in here and someone say just little tinge and ReLaunch and pastor and they all and all of that. But you go to work the next day. Anyway, I digress. Principle number 1, because it got quiet, so I figured I'd run behind this thing. Principle number 1, we want to be the best we can be, reach our potential, serve people better, and glorify God. To do this, we must be intentional and perpetual. I'm going to toss it to you. Somebody break that down for me. Go ahead, Dana. You looked up. I know your name. If you don't want me to catch you, just don't look up.
I need a mic, but to me that means Reverend always talks about, we only get that one chance to make that first impression. So to me, it's about no matter what we're going through personally, making sure we're giving everybody our best each time. Because we don't know what somebody's coming in with or bringing in with or what it took for them to even get to church, even each other. I don't know what Liz went through this week, so I didn't need to even be nice to Liz because Liz don't know what I went through either. So we need to just be respectful and loving of each other. Candace and I got into it a while back, but no matter what, Candace still my sister at church. So I gotta love her regardless, and she gets mad at me sometimes, or Miss Curlin may get mad at me. So no matter what, we gotta
everybody get mad at you, Dana.
Right,
wow.
But that first impression, especially for visitors or whatever, we gotta put our best foot forward and make sure that we're focusing on God.
And that's why you do details. That's why you do details. That's why everything matters. Everything has to matter to a leader. Everything. Even the minute thing, everything has to matter. And in terms of being intentional and perpetual, you have to want to do it. You have to do it often, and it has to become a part of the fabric and culture of the church. That's what perpetual and intentional mean. I want to do it, right? I want to do it. I want to do it often because God's called me to, right? But it becomes the fabric, sweetie, it becomes the fabric of the church. That's the whole perpetual thing. Because anybody can do something good once. Pastor will tell you, anybody can get up there and preach one good sermon. One. But have to get up there Sunday after Sunday. And we only get one book. How many times? I love Easter, but how many different ways you can say he got up? Everybody already know he got up. People already coming knowing that he got up. And Christmas, people already know he was born. How many different ways? So anybody can do that once. Anybody can be the visiting preacher once. It's the perpetual, okay? So in leaders with your ministries, it's called this is what it's called in ministry, okay? Let's just give a word we can all identify with. That's what it's called in ministry. The grind. You know what the grind is? The grind is, setting up and making sure the sound right and making sure the screens are on. That's the grind. You ain't scoring no points for that.
Ain't nobody giving you no lollipops for that. Heaven ain't even waking up for that. It's just the grind. It's just part of the ministry, right? Making sure the lights are on, making sure the parking, the lot is clean. Those are the grinding things. That's the grinding thing. Making sure you're here to do the promo. Oh, did I tell you I watched on Sunday? I watched it all. Okay, so making sure you're here to do the promo. I'm spying on you. How could I share this if I don't spy? So I'm admitting to you, I'm spying on you. It would be better if I came, because at least you know I was here, but know that I'm watching when I'm not. Okay? So, being on top of that, it's called the grind. And not just this Sunday, not just because it's Family and Friends Day. It was Sunday, right? Family and Friends, I told you I watched. All right? Not just Family and Friends Day, but any given Sunday. What about just any non-holiday, non-thematic, non-whatever? It's just any given Sunday. Are we grinding then? Because you don't know who's coming, right? Anybody can grind when you know you're expecting a lot of visitors. And that's another thing. I digress. Expect people to come. You ever go to someone's house and it was clear that they were not expecting you? It was clear that they were not expecting you, right? Wait right here. They close the door and they attempt to clean up the entire house while you're standing outside because they weren't expecting you. They weren't expecting you. Every Sunday, you ought to expect people. If you're not expecting them, why should I come? Why should I come? So you want to expect people. You want to act like there's 20 people coming, even if it's just 2. But that's how, right, every person is treated as a congregation of 1, because you were expecting them. You're expecting them. I don't know you, but I was expecting you. We did all of this grinding, all of this rehearsing, all of this praying, all of this ushering and getting stuff ready and making sure, because we were expecting you. We're not doing this just for family. Family is family. Go sit down. Right? When your family come over, for some of us, right, it's going in the refrigerator. But when guests come, you serve them, don't you? Right? I came from school. You better not go in nobody's refrigerator. Right? But if you family, my brother come over, what? I ain't getting you nothing. Over there. But if a guest come, then that's what I'm saying, right? If I'm expecting you, then my treatment is different. This is the attitude that every leader should have. I'm expecting someone. I don't know who they are. I'm expecting someone. And when they come, I want them to feel not just welcome, but I want them to come back. So how do I do that? How do I do that? How do all the ministries click, 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 click in such a way that my visitors want to come back? So principle 1. So everything is important. Leave no stone uncovered because you're expecting somebody. You don't know who. You have to believe this theologically, that in the heavenly realm, God is ordering people's steps to come in this direction. If you don't believe that, then you don't need to be a leader. If you don't believe that somewhere in the heavenly realm, God is fixing people to come here. If you don't believe that, then you don't need to be a leader. And I don't think Pastor Trent will have any problem in me saying that. If you're not expecting anyone, then why? What you doing? Why you doing it? Okay? So, you have to expect someone. So, must be intentional and purposeful. Tell me about the performance proficiency challenges changes. Y'all didn't think I knew anything about that, huh? I'm revisiting it. Can anybody tell me anything about it? It originates here. I'm not making that up. That's not even in the book. That comes from that man right there. So tell me, oh leaders, what does that mean? Proficiency, performance, challenges, changes. I draw it out for you because he drew it for me. I'll definitely bring Sabrina next week. I will, because y'all not gonna like me after a while, so I need to bring her, soften it a bit. Performance, proficiency, challenge, changes. Can anybody tell me what that meant? Before I ask Pastor to reintroduce it? Anybody? Okay, go ahead.
But I know Reverend always goes over with us, you know, how do we do, what went well, what can we do better, what challenges that we have, and what can we do to change it so that it doesn't happen again going forward. So it's really just a self-evaluation of our ministry or of ourselves to make sure that we're doing our best and what didn't work, what we can do to fix it.
One of the things that I did, thank you, Dana, after last week, I called Pastor myself. Not to debrief on y'all, but to debrief on me. I can't tell you to do something that I don't do. So we talked about 20 minutes because I wanted to make sure that I was in line with where he was going, right? Just because I was a pastor doesn't mean that I'm going to make assumptions about what he wants to do here. So I talked to him. Hey, man, you know, how you know, what you... That's why there's something I'm going to dig down in, just based on something that he said that I missed last week. Always got to look to be better. So I want every leader, when I ask this again, and I will, y'all need to say something, because that's not in the book. Oh, y'all just thought I was just going to just come out the book? I'm too well read for that. I done read too many books, and I read this one twice. I get bored. So I want to just give you not just the book, but things that are outside the book that help, as well as things that he has shared with me. Y'all need to know this. And it'll help you when you talk in your ministries, right? What do we do well? You know, what do we have to do? What's our performance? How did it go? Was it proficient or was it extra? You know, what are some of the challenges? Do we have attrition? You know, we can't keep nobody? You know, what are some of the challenges? And what we gonna do to fix it? Y'all should be talking like that. I'm gonna teach you how to debrief, okay? In your ministries, debrief. It doesn't take long. You don't have to have a meeting if you debrief right. I hated meetings. Oh God, I used to go to church meetings and just wanted to throw up. God, I hated church meetings. But if you debrief right, you don't have to have a meeting. You have a meeting once or twice a year. Just say you had one. Just come together and eat chicken, whatever y'all do. But if you're debriefing regularly and everyone knows what's happening regularly, no need for a meeting. Because remember, you're working on leftover time. People ain't got a whole lot of time for meetings. And I got permission to say that. So, you're working on leftover time. So you got to learn how to not just manage your time, but manage the time of the people in the ministry that you are overseeing, right? You got kids, they got kids. You got to run home and do homework, they got to run home and do homework. They got to get up at 4 a.m., you got to get up at 4. So all of that has to be managed. So please, that's homework, because I'm going to ask it again. Just know, I'm going to ask this again, okay? So back to, all right. Profit, page 43. Still on principle 1. We may only get through 3 of these, and I'm okay with that because, you know, the author would say it takes a good 6 months to start to inculcate a quality mindset in a ministry. It's not just a few sessions and you got it. No, that's why we're building the ReLaunch way manual so that you all can add to it long after this is over. Because if you don't continue it after it's over, it'll die. Okay, page 43 says, profit and survival should not be the primary motivators to pursue quality. And I'll add another one, comparison. I just want to be better than. If one ministry has a great event, the whole church wins. You do realize that, right? Say it again, Deke. I don't have to appoint you to. Anyway, All right, if one ministry has a great event, but conversely, if one ministry bombs, it's not that the church loses. See, you thought I was going to say that. What it means is, all right, let me step into my nerd suit for just a moment. Geese. When one goose is on the ground hurting, a flock will come and stand next to that goose until either it gets well, it's able to fly. In other words, it doesn't leave it hurting and hanging, which sometimes church people do. Girl, you saw that. That was a hot mess. I knew that wasn't going to work. No. If a ministry has an event and it goes well, everybody wins. That's why you're each other's cheerleader. But if it doesn't go well, and come on now, let's just be honest, sometimes you swing and you miss. But that ain't for the other ministries to throw grave dirt on you. That's the opportunity to say, you know what? Maybe we could have did some things different. Or, I'll just use Doriel's word, maybe we just don't do that no more. You got to be able to talk to each other like that without getting all up in your feelings and hurting, whatever. Because remember, the Hall of Fame baseball player hits 300. That means he makes 3 hits for every 10 at-bats. That means he makes more outs than he does hits. That means he fails his way to the top. Sometimes it takes, you learn more, I'm telling you, you'll learn more from your oops than you'll ever learn. Because everything is good when everything is good. Everybody's good when everything is good. The question is in churches, how are things when things may not be so good? I observed my manager on the job this way. I said, I don't observe how you treat me when I'm doing well. You pay me to do that. You pay me to do that. I observe how you treat me when I make a mistake. Everybody's good when everything is good, but it's when things are not so good. That's where I think church has to rise to the occasion. Because the people that come in here are coming with something. They may not always tell you what it is, but they're coming with something. Some hurt, some pain, some something. They're coming with something, right? So the assumption is, oh, just because I'm going to church, I'm okay. No. Most people come to church because life kicks them in the door. Some people don't want to come. Life kick them in the door. And now they're sitting next to you. And now all of a sudden they want to join hospitality or ushers or whatever. Okay? So be mindful, all right, that I like what this, so it's just not about money and numbers and all that. All that is good. Those are good measuring tools and all that. But we're in the business of changing, or not changing, only God can do that. Reaching hearts. Reaching people. Reaching people. That's hard work. I hate to say it. It's hard work because folk are fickle. They with you today and not with you tomorrow. You know, they good today and a basket case tomorrow. That's why this is so important. You gotta grind because folk will take you there. It's hard work. That's why I use words like that. Grind. It's hard work. I commend you all so much, and that's why my wife, why we love. I would have never, I don't have the spirit in me, to start a church? Yeah, okay. Start. And then move. And set up and break down and set up. That's just not my oil. That's just not my anointing. Okay? I mean, so and that's part of the reason why I just admire pastors so much, because grind from the movie theater to half the time I didn't know where y'all were. Woodlawn Drive. I know y'all was on a place on Woodlawn Drive, little place there. Then you went behind this place over here, right? But let me tell you something. One of the best things y'all did. Here's where it is. It's called Appreciative Inquiry. Sabrina would say, where they at? I don't know. Then we started getting texts. I don't know whose brilliant idea that was. Stay with that. Do that. And do that often because that's how folk communicate. If I couldn't call them, Negro, where you at now? But we started getting texts. Serena and I started getting texts. Meet us here, meet us here. So don't let that go. Please don't let that go. Okay? It's grinding. You ain't getting a lollipop for it. But it's needed and necessary, is what I'm saying. Okay? We benefited from it. All right? When you move from, I think it was Woodlawn Drive, for the longest time, Sabrina and I, I'm saying, didn't know that y'all were back over there. We didn't know. Until one day we got a text. Oh, that's where we are. Because, Pastor Churn and I, we didn't see each other often at Vaughn. We didn't. So, we got a text. Okay. And, here, which is wonderful. But do that. So, see, that's just one instance. Do what you do well often. So now we get all the texts. Oh, yeah, that was that. Yeah. Dana, I don't know if that was you or if that's you that sends that, but we know when Family and Friends Day is. We know when everything is around here because we get the text. Because we feel included. You see where I'm going with this? Right? We're not members. We may be honorary members, but we feel included. So if we feel included, does the person who comes every now and then, do they feel included? Right? Because I don't respond to the text, right? It doesn't say you have to say anything back, but you get it, right? Included. Serena and I feel included. That's why we love y'all so much, because we feel included. Not just because Pastor asked me to preach or teach or, y'all love the wife and whatever, but we feel included. That's with us. So see, I'm talking now as a visitor. So you have to hear me not just as Reverend Vero or not just as the facilitator, but I need you to hear me as a visitor. We feel included. You ought to take note of that. Because if we as visitors feel included, maybe there's something about making visitors feel included. Now, how you do that is the ReLaunch way. Okay, so please be mindful of that. Let's look at any questions before we move to the second principle. We're on that first one. Tell you I got a whole lot to talk about. Any questions about that? That making sense? Just want to see if it's making sense now, okay? Because I want to get to a few questions to continue to build our ReLaunch Way manual. Principle number 2. Oh, God. I was trying to duck this one, but okay. Let's practice what we preach. Now, this just ain't for Pastor Churn, right? We talking leaders, so let's practice what we preach, us, right? Practice what we preach and put thorns in our laurels. Somebody help me with that. Take your best shot. What you think? When you read that, what you think? Got to practice what we preach, put thorns in our laurels.
I believe it means
Yes, Miss Liz, go ahead. Yes.
the old lady over here in the corner. I believe it means treat people how you would want to be treated.
Okay, I like
With
that.
dignity, respect, honor, whatever their respect level is. Put ourselves in the other person's shoes and see if it fits.
Okay. Proverbs 18:24 says, he who desires friends must first show himself friendly, right? So if you're going to be an inclusive, friendly church, then you can't be mean, right? That's kind of antithetical, right? You can't, hey, there's a place for everyone, but if you're mean, ushering ain't it.
Say it again, Reverend.
Okay. And if you're not a morning person, then ushering is not for you because your service starts at 10.
Right.
So if you're more of a 12 o'clock kind of a person, then just do the sound or something, do something else. But don't greet people. Because if you're not a morning person, Miss Tyra, I know she's a morning person. She greets us at the door, smiling, all of that. Great. If Miss Tyra wasn't a morning person, you might do something else. That doesn't mean that there's not a place for that. It's just not at the door. You with me? Okay, so practice what we preach. Put thorns in our laurels. What that means is being able to prick, poke, and prod folks into action. This is where this intercollective dialogue amongst ministries in your ministry gets so helpful, right? You have to give each other license to not, correct or anything, but to encourage. Look, where were you? I needed you, and so when you weren't there and you didn't call me, it's the dirty word of the church, it's accountability, but it is what it is, okay? You gotta let people, if you're on a ministry, then make them feel needed. Make them feel that they got a role. You signed up for this. You ain't dragging nobody in. You ain't holding a gun in nobody's head. You signed up for this. So great, I need you. I need you on that door. I need you on the stage. I need you wherever you're supposed to be. I need you there at 9:58, not 10:10. Because you're already singing by 10:10. I don't need you no more. Okay? Right? I need you there at 9:55. That's when I needed you. I needed you. 15 people walked in, and then the hospitality person showed up at the door. Well, I don't need you then. I needed you 15 minutes ago when the 15 people were coming in. That's when I needed you. That's when I need you. I need you. It's part of this grinding thing. I need you. If you got to get up 5 minutes early, fine. If you got to drag your son with you, fine. But I need you. I need. This is what the ministry. Why? Because we're expecting someone. This is why I need you, because and I don't know who. I'm expecting someone. So I need to be there before they get there. I need to let them know that I was expecting. I was looking for you. I'm so glad you came. I was expecting you. Okay? So that's the thorns in the laurels, right? Pricking each other, pushing each other. The basic fundamental word about encouragement is coming alongside someone and helping them move forward. That is the basic Greek understanding of encouragement. Right? So in Greek, one word for the Holy Spirit is paraclete. Paraclete can get translated encourager, and that fundamentally is what encouragement means. To come alongside someone and not push them from the back, but to walk with them, right? Almost grab them under the arm and walk with them. Walk with them, right? Ecclesiastes says, 2 or 3, if one fall, you get another to help you up. That whole premise that's encouragement, and that's what ministries and leaders need. You all need that. Otherwise, it will just become work, and that's when it'll get funky. When it just becomes work, then it becomes, well, they ought to be glad I showed up. That's when you need to take a sabbatical, right there. When you say that, that's when you just need to sit in the back and let Pastor minister to you. Just take some time off. I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you what I know, what I lived. Did I tell you I was pastor for 7 years? So I've seen some stuff, okay? So when you start feeling like it's work or that the church ought to be glad that you showed up, right there is where you need a break. Right there. Now, you got to be able to check you before somebody say, you sit down this Sunday. It's just something about it. Just come on now. Okay? All right? So because grinding, it can lead to that. Leadership in ministry is thankless. I said that thank you is the currency. Sometimes in leadership, you don't get it. Now, if you don't get it, is that you're going to take your marbles and go home? After you done told people that God called you to this? Well, then take it up with God. If God doesn't write thank you, whoever in the sky, and take it up with him. Don't take it out on the ministry, take it up with him. If that's the issue. If that's the issue, okay? It can be thankless. It can be thankless. Just understand that. And know your threshold. If you need to be told thank you every third Sunday, then, please, ministry is hard. I'm not up here to lie to you. I'm not up here to paint no rosy picture. It's hard. I'm not telling you something you don't already know, but what I am trying to say is it's worth the work. This is what I'm trying to tell you. It's worth the work, all right? And sometimes, I'm doing it for the Lord. Sometimes that just don't work. Now, we all know we're doing it for the Lord. Okay, and the Lord knows your heart. I know that too. But every now and then, it helps to hear from a human that you're doing all right. It helps to hear from a human. That's all I'm saying. Okay? So it's hard, it's grinding, okay? But the principle, practice what we preach. Because I think Dana may have said this. And I know I certainly say this in the funeral business. I had to share this with a family just the other week. Because they were like, we want to hurry up and bury Mama. I said, let's just pause. You do know you will only get one time to do this. There ain't going to be another funeral. You only get one shot at a funeral. Nobody does a do-over for a funeral. You only get one shot. So it behooves you, family, to take the extra day. Think about it. They were so glad because what went to hurry, throw Mama in the ground, literally, turned into this extravagant, the grandkids did something, the kids did something, the neighborhood did something, and I just looked at the family from the back. Pays, right? Take your time. So why am I saying this? You only get one shot. And sometimes people leave and they don't tell you why, so you never really know. But do know this. You only get one shot at a visitor. Now, if you can look God in the face and say, Lord, I did my best and they left anyway, fine. Paul would say they went out from us because they weren't of us, all that, fine. And sometimes, ReLaunch ain't for everybody. Understand that. Don't get your feelings hurt. But as long as you know that you have done your level best, understanding you only get one shot. I was there. I was prepared. I was expecting someone. When they came, I greeted them. I tried to make them feel included. I tried to make them feel like they were the only one. I did my part. Everybody was in place. Everybody was on point. Checked all the boxes. Did all that. They decided, okay. Because guess what? Did I not say that God is orchestrating the steps of not just one person, but a few people to come this way? Right? You got to believe that. If you don't believe that, then you're in it for the wrong reason. You've got to believe that God is going to send people this way. You've got to believe that. You've got to believe that. So that's our second principle there. Oh, boy, Ashley, I tell you, man, I don't even need glasses. Way to go. Okay. Can you put up that next slide? See, that's what you do right there. Go back. Go to the one you just went to. No, not that one. I'm getting to that, but that one right there. Knowing that the average person drives past an average of 10 churches. It's an average. It's an average, right? Some people may walk here and whatever, okay? Some people may just get on 695 and whatever. But on average, person drives past 10 churches. That means they wanted to come here. They wanted to come here. And the worst thing is to want to go somewhere and feel like you shouldn't have went. Because you weren't expecting them. This is a real, that's some average of 10 places. So I want to pause here for just a moment right here on principle 2 because I want to drill down in something that I when Pastor and I talked about our debriefing meeting, it sparked something. And I think this is a good place to insert it. Ashley, it's the slide after this one. Oh, you want to go? That one, right there. Somebody tell me the difference between in-reach and outreach. This is a game-changing kind of thought. What is the difference between in-reach? Now, I think the easier definition is outreach, so let's start there. What is outreach? Okay, going outside the church, absolutely. Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else? Outreach? Yes, mother. Fabulous. Sad mother. Oh. Sad mother. All right, all right. Okay. Anybody else got anything about outreach? What'd you say? What'd you say, Rev? Don't make me come over there. What'd you say, Rev?
Overachieve.
Overachieve. All right. Okay. Deke?
Go outside to bring someone in.
Oh, I'm going to park it right there. Good transition, Deke. So if I'm going out, that's outreach, right? That's why some of our clients are community partners. That's outreach. That's out there. Okay. So if that's outreach, what is in-reach? What you say?
I said we still are each other's customers. We still go through our own trials and tribulations, and we still have to encourage each other and, keep moving forward. And hopefully, because we're learning and we're growing and we're changing as we go through that process. So the same, even though we're trying to maybe introduce going out, people that already are in and maybe had an introduction, we're still learning and growing and trying to do things. And we never know what life is going to throw at us. But we still will need each other's support.
Okay. I like that. Yes, Elisa.
That I used to go to for years. We had this saying where we said we are, for God's children, sending insiders out to bring outsiders in.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Ashley, let's make that a slide. Sending insiders out to bring outsiders in. Can I dovetail it? No, finish your thought.
So,
And I'm going to hold mine because I'm old.
what we had to live by was our outreach wasn't just having events. It wasn't just, going to things. It was how we conducted ourselves everywhere we went because we were representing our church family at work, but then our families, at our own family events, everywhere. Because if you are mean and nasty at work, no one wants to come to your church. If you don't, even just, it could be any kind of interaction. It could mess up our in-reach. And so that's what we live by, and that was our thing.
Okay. Rick Warren said, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, and we had to work on our ministry ourselves because the in-reach. So we had to make sure that inside we were growing and that we were fed so that when we went out, so it went hand in hand.
Okay. I have a different kind of review because I'm weird like that, but that's okay. Rick Warren would say, purpose-driven life, that your mission is to unbelievers. Your ministry is to believers. Using these terms, outreach is to unbelievers. In-reach is to y'all. Outreach is what brings them in. In-reach is what helps them to stay. Why bring them in if you're going to run them away? Why bring them in and you don't have a way to keep them? This is where you all come in. He can't keep them by himself. He needs arms and legs to keep them. Now, he can preach and rope them in. Pastor Chern has a lassoing kind of a word. It's an arresting kind of a word, okay? But in reach. This is why I'm saying we got to go slow with the critique because I knew I was coming here. In reach, in reach, in reach. What is your in reach? How do you take care of each other? In the ministry, how do you look out for each other? How do you do that? How do you do that? Do you do that? If you don't, it's not in reach. You gotta have both. If they come in, what makes them stay? Anybody could come. You can have family and friends day all you want. You may get a lot of visitors. The question is, how do you keep them? Right? It's one thing to win the title. It's another thing to keep it. Right? It's one thing for people to come in and visit. It's another thing to keep them. So your in reach has to be just as strong as your outreach. Because I'll tell you this, and here's where you all add an advantage. And then we're going to go to questions because I want to build our manual. I said this in a sermon, every insider knows what it's like to be an outsider. But every outsider don't know what it's like to be an insider. Good? Because if I never met Jesus, I used to pray, Nate, I used to pray for people, just Jesus and me. You can keep the recycled Christians. Just Jesus and me. That's what I wanted. Just the hardhead who never went to church, just meet Jesus and me. That's all I want them to know. So I don't have to unravel anything. It was selfish, but you know. All right. Every insider know what it's like to be outside. Because no one's born saved, right? So we're actually all born outsiders. When you give your life to Christ, you become an insider. So outreach is to help the outsider become an insider. And it's a terrible thing when persons become an insider and all of a sudden want to go back outside. But this is where you all come in, right? You have to keep them. That's in reach. If you focus all your attention on outreach, who's taking care of the camp? Somebody has to take care of the camp because we're expecting people, right? So if we're expecting people, what are you going to do when they get here? True story. Easter Sunday, I think I was pastor maybe 2 years. We had some crazy number of people join. It may have been 20. I don't know. It was a lot. We didn't have no new member cards. You talk about somebody almost having an aneurysm. And I said this very thing. You want to know why we ain't had no new member cards? Because we wasn't expecting nobody. And that's why the church, I had a hissy fit. And that's why the church has been empty. And that's why we can't get nobody. And I had to take off the next week. Have somebody else preach. Because I was just wait a minute. How you going to have 20 people join and you don't have no new member cards? That tells me you're not expecting them. It was a surprise. It was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? I thought this is what we were supposed to do. In reach. Outreach, in reach. Okay? In reach. A strong in reach. A strong in reach will result in core people because they want to stay. So they become core people. They become part of the furniture. They become core people. People that you can look to, people that pastor can look to. That in reach. If you don't have a strong in reach, then your leadership will change. If you go through transition, people will leaving. It'd be a revolving door. Can't keep nobody. He wondering why. It's because you don't have no in reach. And he can't do it all. Just thought. I hope I'm still in your neighborhood. I love you. Anyway, I'll bring Sabrina next week. How about we do that? Okay, let's talk a couple of questions, okay? A couple of questions, because I'm building the ReLaunch manual. Page 57, we're only getting through 2, and we're going to slow walk this, because again, the book says it takes about 6 months to even think about a serious plan. So, here we go. Page 57 in the book. We're only going to do a couple of these questions. Woohoo. All right. What would it take for us to implement a quality improvement plan? What would it take? Okay. Okay. Anything else? And I like this, not that I don't like the others, but this whole notion of being receptive has with it the idea that we want to be able to be willing to deal with the ebbs and the flows. I'm not going to say everything that you want to hear. You all are not going to say everything that you want to hear. But for the betterment of the ministry, sometimes you just got to be receptive to other people's views, even if they are different from yours. Because the goal is to get a 5-star church the ReLaunch way. That's the goal. So there may be some bumps along the way, okay? What can we do to make sure we're getting the right people for the positions? Oh God, why am I asking this? Anyway, versus the warm body syndrome. No need for me to discuss what the warm body syndrome is. We all know what that is. Write this down so we can just get it out of our system, okay? Better to leave it vacant than to get the wrong person. That is the warm body syndrome. Better to leave it vacant than to get the wrong person. It is harder to get rid of the wrong person than it is to find the right one. Okay? Please. Okay, so what can we do to make sure that we are getting the right people for the position? Now, this is on y'all. This is not on me. I'm not going to put words in your mouth. Come on. Please don't make me call you. You know you now. Don't do this to me. Not Dana. Siobhan. See, I know people's names. See, see what you done made me do? Don't do that. Give it your best college try. Come on. What's that? Okay. How can we make sure we're getting the right people for the position instead of just warm body, here's a mic, you don't even know if they can sing or not. You just gave them a mic because they were sitting there. That's warm body. That's warm body. No, that's warm body. I give you a mic because you were sitting there, right? But that's what a warm body syndrome is. Siobhan, go ahead. Oh, you thought I was going to? I'm sorry. Go ahead. Okay. Okay. No. I'm with you. So there is an emphasis on proficiency. Let's get back to I can incorporate what Pastor. There's an emphasis, so there is a standard. Right? There is a standard now. Right? Right? There is a standard. Nature's not going to just let anybody up there. There's a standard, right? There is a standard. There's a standard. All right. Brandy, I saw your hand up. Go. Say again? Oh, interview. Oh. Right. So if you can't sing Blessed Assurance, you just can't sing, right? I get it. I mean, we keep it simple. We'll keep it simple, right? If you cannot sing the funeral national anthem, which is Blessed Assurance, the choir is not for you. We kindly refer you to the ushers or somewhere else. There's a place for you, it just may not be there. And you have to gently, delicately tell people, maybe there's something else for you. Baby? Yes, ma'am.
She had something too. But I was going to say,
Oh, so it's standards. You're talking about standards. And let me tell you, let me just hang here for just 30 seconds, and I want to get to this next question, and then we're going to wrap up. Okay. Don't lower the standards. If the standard is you need to sit with so-and-so before we let you do X, don't get desperate because you need somebody. Better to leave it vacant than get the wrong person. Hold to, yeah, Deke. No, all that. Know those who labor, who's working, okay? That's the in reach. You can't know that if you don't have good in reach, okay? So hold the standard. I used to tell Sabrina when we had the assisted living, it was a small assisted living. I said, look here, just because we're small don't mean we got to be ghetto. No, if you're going to hire somebody, they're either going to be on time or I'm going to fire their tail. That's what we're going to do. And we're not fooling around. We're taking care of people's mamas and all that. No, we're not doing that. You know, no, you're not doing me no favors. No. You can't be on time. You got to go. Needless to say, Sabrina was the boss. She was a lot more, you know. But it's the truth. You got to hold your standard. Hold your standard. Why? You're expecting somebody. I don't know how many times I'm going to hear me say that. You're expecting someone. So you're treating the person you haven't seen, who you don't know, with a level of respect before they hit the door because you're expecting them and you don't want the ministry to unexpect them, not expect them. Treat them like you ain't looking for them. No. So standards. Now, this is y'all word, so you're going to hear it again. I'm taking that page home. Bring up with statements next week. Okay. It's 8 o'clock. Can we do one more question, and then we're done? Okay, because I want to hear from y'all because I need material for the manual. Okay. Here's the piece. And this is a good one to end on. How can we discuss quality elements during our regular ministry meetings? You can slash debriefing meetings. I want us to get into the habit of debriefing, right? Meetings can be lengthy. Debriefing. Teach how to debrief standing up. You can debrief walking. It ain't got to be this. It ain't got to be this. So, okay. How can we discuss quality elements during our regular ministry debriefings? Just give me some thoughts, and we will end right there. Give me some ways. I have a couple of ways, but give me some ways. Yes, Ms. Tyra. Listen to understand and not to interject. Right? Because sometimes people just listening, just waiting for you to stop so they can get in. They ain't hear nothing, but they just want in. Anything else? Anything else? Let's go back to print. Yes, Alnisa, yes. Go. Say again. Great word. Love the word. Glad you said it because it's y'all word. I was going to say something along that, but glad you said it. Recap. It don't take long to recap nothing. Thus the word. Recap. Right? It's already happened. So 5 minutes, I'm telling you, we're going to start doing it when I start asking how church is. We're going to start doing it standing up. Because see, when you sit down, you give the people, we're going to be a while. No. I have some place to go. So we're just going to huddle right over here right quick. And we're just going to have a little couple of, okay, we need to do this. This went well, this went, okay. Well, we'll pick it up next time they see you, girl. I'm gone. All right, call me. You do that enough. At first, people will forget, but you do it enough, it becomes a rhythm. It becomes a rhythm. And that's what ReLaunch wants, a rhythm. Once you get in a rhythm, and then anybody that joins, oh, this is what y'all do? Okay. They fall in rhythm. Fall in line and they fall in rhythm. Okay. I'm going to pause here because, again, just got so much. We're going to hang out for a while. I hope this was helpful. I think that next week we'll continue on principle 3. But again, the first principle was, want to do the best that we can when we got to be intentional. And the second, got to practice what we preach. And just as a homework, just think about ways you can strengthen your in-reach. Outreach is because you love people and you want them to love the Lord. I get that. In-reach. If you strengthen in here, it will bleed out to out there. Part of the reason people don't come to church is because they see that church people don't love each other. But if they see that and they don't have it, then they'll want it. So we're gonna hang out in in-reach, outreach, but I want you all to start building your in-reach. How can I help the folk in my ministry that I serve next to every Sunday? You want to be nice to the person outside, but if you ain't nice to the one that serves next to you, so we want to work on in-reach. Amen? All right, let's all stand. It's 8:02. I'm sorry.
Everybody, thank Reverend Rivera, please, 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 please. Amen.
My man.
Well, I had them type in my number 3 because I didn't want us to leave without that. And my number 3, if I could add, would simply be to establish a checklist of excellence. I think that if we all take a moment in our debriefing to decide what our questions are, a good Sunday looks like this, and then answer those questions. It's a quick way to say our Sunday went well if the sound was good, if the lighting was well. If we establish a checklist of excellence, I believe that that's a good way to discuss quality elements and not go off track with discussing things that do not matter. And every ministry is able to do that. What does a good Sunday for intercessors look like? And they answer those questions based on their ministry. A good Sunday for music ministry consists of this. And if we do those things internally in our ministries, I think that they would help with the question Reverend Rivera asked us tonight about how we do a quality elements, discuss our quality elements during our debriefing.
So that's your homework.
Oh, I didn't mean to add homework.
Oh, no, that's good. That's a good place to start next week. That's that, but right there. That means you got to do that Sunday, because you don't know, I might be watching.
All right. We are all standing and we're going to pray. And then please, I have to make the announcement because I hate to waste money. There is food on that table. Grab it as you go. Please eat all of it. There's hot food tonight and snacks and salad and stuff. So just grab it on your way out. And we thank you. Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather, to learn of you, to grow together. Bless this church and everyone that comes in contact with this church, its membership, and its ministry. And then bless our facilitator in a mighty way. Give him all that he stands in need of. Strengthen his family, his finances, increase his faith, and cover and fortify his life. And thank you for everyone that pressed their way tonight and everyone that's viewing online. You see that our heart is connected to purpose and vision. And so, God, please give us the desires of our heart, which is to serve you at another level and in an amazing way. We thank you in Jesus' name. Now give us traveling mercies as we go. Allow us to find our homes well when we return, and our souls say amen. And we thank God. And bless the food and the hands that have prepared it, that it might be nourishment for us. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight.